You know exactly what time it is. It's time for that coach for the streets, man. You know what you gotta do. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. But we about to get right into it, man. We gotta talk about Big Ralo, Famgoon, Mr. Dolph, home from the feds, right back to it. What a lot of people don't realize about Ralo is he was rich before rap. But a lot of people took that as a gimmick when he first came out doing all these interviews. Now, what most don't know about Ralo is he was a household name in Atlanta well before we ever heard of Famgoon Ralo in the hip-hop industry. And when I say that in the biggest way because we know about the Big Meeches, we know about the Double D's, we know about a whole bunch of top-tier Atlanta hustlers from the streets. But when we get to talking about Ralo, we talking about a pure-bred, born and raised Atlanta nigga that really come from the trenches, that got to his bag, that got the bag, fed his team. Not only got the bag and fed his team, but he got the bag, fed his team, bought property, put his team in there, rent-free. And people wonder why or how Ralo was able to have this type of status, not only in hip-hop, but also in the streets. Money in the streets means everything. Respect in the streets mean everything. And if Ralo was able to obtain both of these things, you have to understand why the loyalty amongst his circle. Look at all the rappers right now. Tell me how many CEOs is making sure they people, they immediate group of people, they entourage, they homeboys, the ones they call they fam, they bros, all of that, got somewhere to be, got something to do, got something in front of them, got a bag. These are things that Ralo was doing before rap. And we all know when you put the money with the connections that you have in the streets and the industry, and some of the people that he got ties to in the streets end up getting into the industry, makes it all the way more easier for a nigga like Ralo. But we also know every run got an end of the road, and Ralo's end of the road came. And I think we all know how it ends for anybody in the streets, whether you hustling, sliding, gang banging, whatever you doing, it's no positive end to it, and it wasn't a positive end to it for Ralo neither, because he ended up in the feds. Now, even in the process of being locked up, his homie Gene Deal insinuated that Ralo cooperated with the police, and he didn't agree with what Ralo did. But as we see, Ralo went and did his time. He came home. We see how the streets welcome Ralo back home. So, my words, my opinion, my perspective, I want to know what y'all think. Leave it in the comment section. But if Ralo snitched, do you think the streets would have this much respect for him right now still? Because I don't think they would have. Not being the level of hustler, the level of gangster Ralo really was in the streets of Atlanta, I don't think they would respect him still in the free world, now that he a free man, knowing that he had that jacket on. And keep it 100, we don't see the streets of Atlanta going at Ralo now that he home. We don't see nobody attacking his character, antagonizing him, or you know, we seeing people pull up. We seeing people still have those relationships with Ralo. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, going to jail never stopped the ambition of a hustler, and Ralo is just that. To be able to go do your time in the feds, where 90-something% of the people that go home, that go to the feds and come home, gotta start all over. They don't got nothing. They starting back at zero, trying to work themselves back into society. Probably got to go get a 9-to-5 now. We watched this man come home, buy more stuff. Not only do we got properties, but now he investing into having his own mosque and things like that. Now, we got to credit this man for certain things because, okay, he was a street dude, but being able to leave and come back and do something like that It's a big example for a lot of people that's really rich, legally, been getting rich legally, and ain't been doing nothing with their money. They dudes sitting beside them or behind them, pause, looking like they homeless while they got $100,000 necklace on, $500,000 in jewelry on, $300,000 Richard Mille on. But your homeboy starving. We watching Ralo create his own atmosphere, and his family, friends, and homeboys get to live in his world with him comfortably. Now, one thing I do want to speak on that I hope Ralo don't come home and get himself into something so bad that he can't come back from it. And we done seen Ralo come home and express to the public, to the streets, how much he siding with Dolph. Dolph was his homie. He done got a chain made with Dolph. You know, just shouting Dolph out. He's siding with Kenny Money, Big Moochie Grape. He got a new video out now with them. So he letting the public know. Not only the public, I feel like he letting CMG members know what it is with him and his relationship with Dolph, and how much love he still got for Paper Route Frank. Rest in peace, Paper Route Frank, young Dolph, man. And this is another example of how much the streets really love young Dolph, man, because you got another reputable like Ralo coming home, standing on business, and he picking his side. What I want to know is what that mean for Yo Gotti, because we know exactly who got the biggest influence in Atlanta when it comes to the streets, and it ain't Yo Gotti, and it ain't CMG. We know Dolph had more love in Atlanta than Gotti did presently. So, at the end of the day, is Gotti good in the ATL? Is Mr. Dog Food going to apply pressure in Atlanta over his love for Dolph? Let me know in the comments. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's time for that. Culture for the streets. You know what time it is.